First, it was the morning that tested us all, a powerful rainstorm that shut down roads and rail lines, flooded homes and brought the city to a virtual standstill. Traffic gridlock was the worst since monitoring began 15 years ago. 1,000 breakdowns clogged the roads. Hundreds had to be rescued or evacuated. A month's rain fell in a day. In the CBD, 119 millimetres. In the west, 146 millimetres at Marylands. And as the weather went mad, in Kingsford, a tornado struck. We'll have more on that shortly. But first, NATASHA EXELBY looks at the day Sydney stopped.
The past 24 hours has been one of the most extraordinary weather events Sydney has ever seen.
Happened really fast. I just completely freaked out. I was more concerned about getting myself and the kids, my two young children aged 2 and 4, out of the house. Both of them looked outside and then their comment was, "Mum, we can't swim. How are we going to get out of the house?"
Everyone was fleeing the flood zone. Just down the road, Marrickville looked more like Venice. Parked cars became floating wrecks. Kate Durrow has always wanted a waterfront view, but not like this.
Just up to here.
Wow.
So we're a bit worried it was going to keep coming in, but luckily it hasn't.
Michelle O'Brien has lived here all of her life. She's seen her street flood before, but never this fast.
I remember when I was only very young, the highest it's ever come is probably to our front steps. So, yeah.
Still not ideal though, is it?
It's not ideal, no.
Just to give you some idea of how hard and fast this water rose this morning, neighbours were just telling me that they saw the driver of this car driving along. The waters were rising so quickly he couldn't open his door to escape, so he wound down the window and pretty much had to swim out to save himself.
This car came crashing down an embankment near STRATHFIELD. What's more remarkable is the driver doesn't have a scratch on him.
Over there, slightly slippery, and then all of a sudden that happened.
Several cars were hammered by falling trees, but they fared much better than this house in Minto. Last night's storm caused its ceiling to cave in.
I was thought of something wrong, somebody tried to broke my house or something like that, but I don't know that the ceiling is falling down. But it was too much raining. It's heaps raining that time.
The wild weather wasn't just intense, it was vast. Barely a corner of the city wasn't affected in some way. This may look like a lagoon. It's actually a cul-de-sac at Kemps Creek.
I'll take it. Yep.
Neighbours helped each other reach dry ground.
Thank you. That's okay.
Emergency services were sent into overdrive. They helped this heavily pregnant woman escape the floodwaters at HOMEBUSH. SES and fire crews responded to hundreds of calls. The majority of houses have survived the onslaught, and so have the people. But it sure does bring a whole new meaning to living on an island. NATASHA EXELBY, 10 News.